Hi everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Michelle, and on this space we talk about everything queer and body positive. So today's conversation is going to be about coming out, especially if you're coming out in a homophobic place or to homophobic people. So before we even start about the things that you should do before you come out, you need to know that coming out is not a mandatory thing. You can only do it if you feel comfortable to do it, if you want to do it, if you feel like doing it is gonna add the quality of your life. And just know that if you don't want to come out, it's okay. You literally don't have to come out. You can live all your life without ever coming out, and that's totally okay. Yeah. So don't ever feel pressured to have to come out. Don't look at people and compare yourself with them and be like, I want to come out because they came out. No, just look within you. If coming out is something that you want to do authentically for you, then go ahead and maybe consider the following points that we're going to go through in this video. If you're someone who is considering coming out, maybe you feel like you not coming out is limiting your life, or perhaps you feel like you have to live a double life, or you feel like you want to just express yourself more and let people know that you are like this or like that and be accepted for that, then that's okay. And maybe you feel like by you not coming out, you're living a double life, or perhaps you want to align yourself with people who share the same experiences as you want to identify with people who are like you, or maybe you just feel like you want to be seen for who you are, and that's totally valid. So maybe the following tips are gonna help you into preparing for that conversation with whoever you want to have it with. First and most important thing, assess your safety, and not just your physical safety, but also consider your financial safety, your mental safety, your emotional safety. If you're coming out in an environment that's very, very homophobic, and perhaps you already know how they deal with people who identify under the LGBTQIA plus community, then sometimes it's better you wait until you can be able to do that without it being a risk to your well-being. So perhaps if you're not financially independent, or maybe you're still living somewhere that you depend on other people to house you, and you know they're very homophobic, and you're pretty sure that things might go really wrong. Maybe you might get disowned, you might get kicked out, or maybe you might get hurt or physically attacked. Maybe consider just waiting a bit until you are able to do it when you are safe later on. And also remember that you don't have to come out if you're not feeling safe, because it could end up being a really bad situation, as we have seen so many cases around that. So just make sure that you're feeling safe in order to be able to come out safely. The second thing I would tell you, which was very beneficial for me personally when I was coming out, is building a support system. This can look like finding other friends who are also part of the community, or people who are allies to people in the LGBT community, or even finding support in perhaps family members that you know are not homophobic, and they will accept you. So before you come out to, let's say for example, maybe you're coming out to your parent, but you know that this person is not a friendly person to the queer community, perhaps first build a network of friends who are gonna offer you emotional support. Maybe sometimes they're even gonna offer you, like for example, if you're kicked out and you have nowhere to go, maybe these are the people who are gonna come through for you. Also, building your support network can look like reach out to local and other organizations that help queer people. So for example, if you come out and you find yourself in a really tricky situation, perhaps you know that you have a safe house somewhere, you can just go and stay there, and you don't have to be out on the street. Or even if something was to ever happen to you, you know that you might have some legal aid. So always make sure to just build a support system. And perhaps one way that really helped me to build my support system is I started going out for a lot of queer events, and I would make friends or acquaintances there and connections, and these are the people who would tell me, oh wow, you're going through this, I've gone through that too, and for me it felt like this. And I was able to share my experiences. And there's so much power in knowing that you're not alone, that the same feelings you have, other people have it, and they're out there. Even if maybe you don't want to actively reach out to friends who are in that community, just knowing that they exist out here, that gives you so much comfort to know that you're not alone, and you really are not alone. So yeah, just build your support network, because it's gonna come through for you. And maybe, for example, you came out and you're going through maybe gaslighting, manipulation, like someone is trying to just beat you down for who you are, then at least you have support, and you have people holding your hand and just giving you hugs, knowing that you're not alone. Yeah. The other thing to do is work towards becoming financially stable and independent, because a lot of the time, if not all the time, money will give you options. Because if you're not feeling safe, or for example, if you came out and there's been a falling out, you're able to maybe live in your own place, you're able to sustain your own bills, and you don't have to reach out to the same people who will violate you in order to continue to live. Yeah. Something else that you can do, try and work towards a safety plan. And this can look like, maybe you've already identified organizations that might be able to help you in case you find yourself in a fix, and maybe you've identified like safety shelters, you've identified people who can assist you with legal aid if ever you need that. So make sure that I feel like this falls under networking as well, but as you're just preparing to have that conversation, also not at the back of your mind, because you have to do this consciously. As you're preparing to have that conversation, do your research, educate yourself on what organizations exist in your area which might help you. Do your research on what the law says about your identities in the country that you're in. Just make sure that you have the right information, so that you might be able to feel more confident to even go into this conversation. And most importantly, having a safety plan. I feel like it's better to have a safety plan and not need it than to not have one and need it in the moment. And I know sometimes a safety plan might just look like you preparing in case you are attacked or you are chased away or disowned. Like, you have a bag that maybe has your toiletries, it has your documents, it has, the important things that you would need. And if now, let's say for example, you've come out and you're being disowned, you're being chased away, you're being attacked or something like that, your bag is ready, and you're able to run to safety more comfortably, or rather more confidently, knowing that you won't need to go back there for some things that you want, or rather you need to navigate life with. So yeah, always have a safety plan in case you need it. Something else that I can say was important for me, although I'm still practicing that, is gathering information and resources on what your identity means, and how it has been through history, and just find pieces of information that would also help you have that conversation. Maybe you're having that conversation and whoever you're coming out to is, let's say they're not homophobic, but they just don't understand what you're even talking about, what the label you give them means, or maybe you don't even know what label you fall under, and you're still figuring yourself out, and that's okay. But maybe just try and help them digest by maybe explaining what different identities mean or what they mean to you. And sometimes some of them might be open to having that conversation and understanding where you're coming from, but also just don't go with high expectations. Unless you know this is someone that is not homophobic, chances are they won't be ready to even hear what it means and all of the explanations. So just give them time as well. If they are showing you maybe if they are not hostile and they've not disowned you and they've not insulted you or tried to physically hurt you emotionally and every form of harm, just give it time, and maybe you might be able to use that research that you worked on at a later time. So something else that was really beneficial for me is practicing how you're gonna have that conversation. It's the same way you would practice for an interview, and you look at the mirror and you're like, yeah, my name is this, I do this, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's just the same way, because especially if you've decided you want to have this conversation in person and face to face, and you know, we can, let me just use the word confrontation, but not necessarily a fight. So if you're gonna have that conversation like that, then practice so that you know what you're gonna say, and you'll be able to stumble less with your words. And yeah, that might be a little helpful, because it might also add your confidence a bit. The last thing I would say is just follow your instincts and follow your gut, because if you feel like this situation might go really left really fast, or something in you just knows that this is gonna be like absolutely a bad situation, don't do it. Even if maybe you had already prepared to have that conversation and you have your support system in place and you have all these things we've talked about, sometimes when you're in that moment and maybe you've already even tested the waters, or you know, I mean, by testing the waters, I mean, like, for example, if you're talking about a movie and you mention queer characters, and then you see the reaction of that person that you are planning to come out to, then of course you're gonna run the opposite way and just know that maybe it's not a good time to come out to them. So always trust your instincts, and always remember that coming out is a personal journey. There's no book about it. Maybe there is, but there's no one size fits all. People are different. We come from different situations. The people we are coming out to are also different, with their different beliefs and different values and different ways of looking at the world. So it's not a matter of copy and paste. You can't look at someone's journey and just use that in your life, because it might totally not work, or it might work, or maybe you just need to twist that and use it in a context that would suit you. But just remain true to yourself. And just the fact that you're not able to come out right now, maybe you've assessed your situation and you know that it's not gonna be possible for you. Just be patient. Maybe you're gonna be able to come out at a later time in life. And just because you haven't come out doesn't mean that your identity is not valid. It totally is valid, and people out here, we are here and we exist. And I'm just grateful that I'm at a place in my life where I can just be my authentic self and let people who choose to love me and accept me in my life, and the rest, they don't have to be in my life. At the end of the day, it's your life. It's your life. That's the thing. And it's sad that some people end up dying, like when they are at an older age. Maybe you've lived a really rich life and a really full life, and you're in your, I don't know what age, and you just look back and you regret not ever being able to just be yourself, not ever being able to just be authentic with who you are. And by the way, being authentic with who you are doesn't mean that you have to come out in order to be authentic. You can totally choose to live a private life, and you can totally choose to keep everything tucked away and no one knows about it. Or also you can just choose to live boldly and proudly and not feel the need to give anyone any expectations, and that's still okay. So yeah, I hope this was a bit helpful. Let me know in the comments if you would like to hear my coming out story, because it was quite a roller coaster, and it was a number of being forced out of the closet, then coming out myself and going back and coming out again and going back. Guys, it's been wild. So let me know if you would wanna hear that story. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this. I hope something helped you, even if it's one thing. If you have any questions for me and you're not able to put them in the comments below, feel free to DM me on either Instagram or TikTok. And yeah guys, till next time, bye.